What's up, everybody?
It's the Barely Indian Boys. We're back. We're just gonna roll right into it. And how have your days been? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far while you're listening to us. Today, Nish and I wanted to talk about his job some more. If you guys have missed the last couple episodes, actually, I don't know if you saw this, the episode that we made where we talk about, your life as a Tesla engineer. That one's actually got a lot of views. That one's got like 90 views or something.
Oh, snap. People care about my life. It's interesting. Not so much yours. Let's go.
I don't know if I would say that at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, people seem to care about, what it's like to be a Tesla engineer.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I think one of the coolest things that happened this week, well, I guess by the time this episode comes out, this news will be maybe a week or 2 weeks old, but they refreshed the design for the Model S and the Model X. They look pretty dope, man.
So actually, the X is pretty much the same.
I thought
no body changes. So like the shell of the car is going to remain the same. The external shell of the car remains the same, right? So they probably revamped some trim components, and I think they upgraded the battery and like the battery tech for it, because I think it was getting a little bit outdated. But the Model S has like a huge like update. So like the whole front end, they added like a different fascia spoiler kind of kit up at the front, and then they made the car itself wider in the rear. So like the rear wheelhouse area is now wider.
Why?
It's because so to get the power to the wheels without the wheels just slipping, they had to make the wheels wider. And since they made the rear wheels wider, they had to widen the shell of the car so that the wheels didn't look funky. So the car itself is wider than the previous Model S. So that's pretty cool. And the tires are fat, like PH fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And then obviously like all the interior changes that they've done to it to really make it stand out from the previous one. The biggest one I feel like a lot of people are talking about is like the square steering wheel.
Yeah, but I think this is an interesting conversation, because how many other YouTube channels do you know where you can talk directly to a Tesla engineer? Not saying that you worked on any of these upgrades at all, but maybe you did. Who knows? You're probably not at liberty to say. But
I don't know.
Yeah, the square steering wheel. You probably haven't even seen one in person, have you? Or have you?
No, so I haven't even seen like the car in person, just because they're shipping them out, and like they have to do random stuff. I don't even know the schedule and stuff like that. So
but so it's interesting. If you guys haven't seen what the interior of this redesign looks like, we're going to describe it here in a second. But also, if you're listening to just the audio version, go watch the video version. We'll throw a picture of it up right here. But basically, they've made the interior look like basically what the Model 3 looks like, right? The screen is now just one giant horizontal screen, whereas in the past it used to be vertical. And then they've got this steering wheel that they're calling the yoke steering wheel, right? And it's like this rectangular, I don't even know how to describe it.
It's basically like a plane.
Like it looks like a Formula One racing car.
Yeah, it's also like a plane thing that whatever it's called for a plane, I don't know. Like planes have that little joystick. That's helicopters. Right? They have a little joystick thing. Like planes also have like the thing that's like a little square where they like.
Yeah, but those ones like tilt forward like towards you and like.
Well, yeah, but you also go like this.
Right, you also go side to side.
Yeah, to like turn or whatever. So it's kind of.
And it's cool that imagine like your regular steering wheel, then take like the top third of it and just cut it.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Like just
square off the bottom. Essentially, that's what it looks like.
For those of you that didn't know what a rectangle looked like, we just described it for you. So there you go. There you go.
Yeah, how to turn a circle into a rectangle. That's what that was.
Yeah.
It is a cool concept. I don't know how functional it is, because I don't know if you watch the YouTube channel MKBHD with Marquez Brownlee. He's like this, probably the biggest tech YouTuber, and he was kind of giving his first impressions, and he made a really good point about one of the I don't know if comfortable is the right word, but one of the most intuitive things about a car is when you're making a turn with your steering wheel, it's kind of natural to let it kind of flow through your hands, right? And your hand kind of stays at the same position as you turn it, and the wheel kind of just slips through.
Yeah.
Whereas now, because it's a rectangle, there's no top portion. So like when you're turning it, your hand has to like move in different directions and orientations to turn the wheel. I don't know. It was an interesting thing, but I guess in theory, 10 years down the road, you shouldn't even have to touch the steering wheel, right? Like in theory, the car's going to drive itself.
Yeah, and like hear me out. Like I feel like with a circle steering wheel, you always have to hold, like grab it and then turn it, right? Now you
Right.
can just like lift it from the bottom on each side. If you want to make a right turn, just like lift it from the bottom, and you don't really
Yeah,
have to grab it, right? You're just kind of like
that's
pushing it,
true. I guess it
and like
depends
you can
on.
literally now you can literally drive it with like a finger, like you literally just go up and then like let it go, gradually come back
Well,
down, and like the other way.
that's going to depend on like how much tension there is and stuff like
Well,
that,
yeah,
right? Which
but
we don't
like
know.
yeah, I was talking with someone else, and it all depends on how much like what's the word I'm looking for? How much like give it has. I don't know how much reaction, like how much you
Yeah.
turn, it actually like turns the car or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're talking about that, and it's like, well, if it's like a sports car, usually sports car is like pretty sensitive
Mm-hmm.
when as far as like movement to the steering wheel going to the
That's true.
cars.
That's true.
So and like they're given that kind of, I don't know, marketing or whatever with like sport vibes, and that like it's going to be able to go 200 miles an hour and like 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds and all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. We can talk about
So
that in a second.
yeah, so like it kind of makes sense, like a sportier steering wheel. You said Formula One earlier,
Yeah.
so maybe they're trying to go with that vibe and just be like super cool about it or something. I don't really know, but it'll all just be up to the people, right? They probably
Yeah.
done testing on it. I don't know if people hate it, people love it. So we'll just
Well,
have to see what the reactions are.
this is, I think, another crazy thing. Obviously, again, want to point out to the people, Niche did not have any design input on how this car was made. Maybe the next one. But one of the really interesting things, in my opinion, was on the steering wheel, there are no more stocks. So like no left turn, right turn signal stock, no no gear shifter. Those were the two stocks that they used to have. There's I can't remember on the Model 3 if there's two stocks, one on each side, or if there's just one.
Yeah.
I think it's one on each side, left, right turn, and then gear shifter on the right side. But both of those things are gone in this car. So the left turn, right turn signal, I believe, is just on the steering wheel now. It's like a little touch screen almost. So, that I don't know how that's going to work functionally. Maybe you're kind of just resting your hand there and you accidentally hit the touch screen. Hopefully it's not like super sensitive. But I think what's more interesting is the gear shifter, because someone tweeted at Elon Musk saying like, hey, there's no gear shifter. Like, how do you put the car in drive, reverse, whatever? He said that based on the surroundings, the car intuitively guesses the direction you want to go. And then, so for instance, if there's a garage door in front of you or a house in front of you, it knows you want to back out. So it knows you need to be in reverse. Um, and if there's nothing in front of you, it assumes you want to go forward. So it puts you in drive. He said the car assumes which direction you want to go and goes in that direction, but there will be a manual override on the touch screen. What are your thoughts on that?
Dude, that's so sketchy.
That's really scary, is it not?
I feel like, you know how like when you park your car, sometimes like even Google Maps is like, you have parked your car here,
Yeah.
and it reminds you or whatever. And
yeah.
So obviously like that aspect of it is probably tied into it. So like when you're home, it's going to be not, and like in your garage, right? Depending on how you went into your garage, the car's going to have that in its memory bank. So like it's going to know if you backed up into your garage or like just drove in. So like that aspect of it's cool, but like at what point, like if I'm
what if you need to do a 3-point U-turn?
If I'm back, exactly, like if I'm backing out of my car or my driveway, and then I was like to back out and I start going this way, and I'm like, oh snap, like in the car, just like, I guess like it kind of makes sense, because like imagine if like you were backing out, right? You come to a stop.
Mm-hmm.
The next step would be put it in drive.
Right.
So the car is automatically going to do that for you.
But what if it doesn't? What if it glitches or something and it thinks that you still want to go in reverse, so you continue going just back down your street or whatever?
Right. I don't know.
It's strange, man.
It's different, and it's interesting, but like at the same time, like you just have to experience it firsthand. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be one of those innovation type deals where you don't really know what you're getting yourself into until you're in the driver's seat. And I think that's pretty interesting. I didn't know about that, honestly. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like Tesla's always been at like not necessarily, well, yeah, the forefront of technology, but also like they're the ones that are always like trying to push that envelope like further, you know?
Yeah. And like to your point earlier, you said full, like when people have the car in like full driving mode or whatever, like it makes those decisions anyway for you. So how is this any different?
That's fair. That's fair.
So like, I don't know. I feel like this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is interesting. I would like to see what it's like firsthand, but you know, the price tag starts at 80,000 for the base model, and then for the what are they calling it? Plaid and Plaid Plus?
Yeah, the Plaid. Yeah.
I believe that one starts at like 120. And then
I think and I think it goes all the way up to like 140-ish.
Yeah, for the Plaid Plus. And that's without the self-driving. Like you still got to add an extra 10 grand for the self-driving. So by no means a cheap car. Maybe one day we'll have the money to get one. But I don't know, would you ever get a Model S? Or they did the same interior refresh to the Model X, right? Would you ever get either of those?
I would probably get the Model X before I got the S.
Really?
Yeah, why? Like just because like convenient.
You like the Falcon doors?
Falcon doors are cool, but like it's SUV, right? You could fit more people in it. There's more like storage space. It has more functionality, and obviously, like I don't know, the big deterrent for me whenever I think about SUV versus like getting like a sedan is always like the efficiency and like getting miles per gallon and stuff like that, and just being like the cost of maintaining the vehicle and whatnot. So like for an electric car, to charge the battery, it's the same cost, right? To charge the SUV as it is the sedan, and both of them have a pretty comparable range. So like at that point, I'm really paying for comfort's going to be about the same because the seats are going to be pretty similar. I'm riding higher, so like I mean, I would rather ride higher. So
but
like
it is ever so slightly more expensive, right? The X.
The X. Yeah. I mean, at that point, like if you're dropping $80,000 on a car, I feel like there's other factors.
What's the difference between 80 and 85?
Exactly. Like at that point, like who really? I don't want to say like who really cares, but like if you have the means to do it, then you might as well get the one you like. If it means dropping an extra 5 or 10 grand on it. It's a pretty big. So, it's like buying a house. You're not gonna buy a house that's like 250, but you like less compared to a house that's like 275 that you like more.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna be willing to do it.
What about the Model 3 versus Model Y? Like, do you feel the same way? Would you prefer a Y over a 3?
I think the 3 is significantly cheaper than the Y, though. So I feel like that isn't like a fair comparison.
I want to say probably like 10 grand. Probably like 10 grand cheaper. But
and here's the thing: when you're buying a car,
the 3 starts at like what 37 or something.
Yeah, at that point, you're not starting at 80,000. Yeah, so like at that point, like 30,000, 35,000, like that's a big purchase, but it's like a reasonable-ish purchase for a car, and you don't have to be like filthy rich to like, hey, I'm gonna drop some money on a 3 versus like I think the Y. I don't know what the Y starts out at, honestly, but it's probably like
I think 10,000 more. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, and then when you add all the bells and whistles and features you probably want, it's probably gonna be like a $55,000 car. So like compared to like buying the base model versus I think at that point I would probably just get the 3.
So of the 4, is that your go-to one? You would get a 3?
Right now in my life, if I had to get one, like if someone was like, you have to buy a Tesla, and I had no choice, I was like, well, I guess I'm going to get a 3 because it's like the most affordable.
But are you saying that as a Tesla engineer, you don't necessarily want to own a Tesla car?
I do want to own a Tesla car, but I don't want to pay to own.
But I feel like before you started working there, you were very much against owning a Tesla.
I don't think so.
I feel like you were very much like, I like driving my car. Like, you know, Teslas are too expensive. Electric cars aren't reliable.
I never said those things. I feel like you just make stuff. The only thing you said that was true is I like to drive my own car. So like, I remember making a comment that I necessarily wouldn't pay to get the self-driving feature because I don't think I would use it.
Is that still true?
Everyone else would. Yes, I think if I were if I were to buy a Tesla right now with my money, I would probably buy a Model 3 without the self-driving capability because I
Can
want.
you add it after the fact?
I don't know. I don't think
I don't know
so.
either. You used to be able to back in the day. I don't know about now though.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure because I don't know if like if you don't do the self-driving, if it comes with all the sensors and the cameras, because it seems kind of like a waste to include all the sensors for it
Oh.
in a trim level where someone's not asking you to put them in there.
Yeah, but I think isn't that like your big thing or Tesla's big thing like during the production of the car to like simplify the production process? They want to keep everything, standard across the board. So I wouldn't be surprised if it still came with all those sensors and it was just like disabled in the software for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
not sure. I'm not
I'd
sure.
have to look into it.
But I think another kind of interesting thing they did on the redesign of the S and X, um, all of the cars now have the black handlebars on the outside, like black trim on the outside, as opposed to chrome. Um, you're having to look up the pictures right now, aren't you? Wow,
100%.
you don't even know about your product. You're a terrible salesman.
I'm not a salesman.
That's fair. You're an engineer.
No.
But so yeah, all the trim on the outside's black. Another cool thing is apparently the interior of the S and X now have like this 22 speaker surround sound system with active noise canceling. So like, I don't
So when your
know.
girl starts talking in the passenger seat, you can be like, "Burp."
No. But the way that like active noise canceling works, right, is like there are microphones on the outside of like, say these headphones right here, right? They have active
Yeah.
noise canceling. There are microphones on the outside and it hears the noise coming from the outside and then produces the opposite waveform inside to basically just cancel that noise out. Now, no headphone on the market does it perfectly. I think Sony and then the new Apple headphones do a pretty good job from what I hear. But like no one does it perfectly. Now Tesla's bringing that into the car, so there are going to be microphones on the outside of the car, and road noise, whatever, will I guess be analyzed through those microphones, and then the opposite waveform produced inside the car to block them out. But my question is like, what about like police sirens and like ambulances and things like that? Wouldn't that be more of a hazard than
Well, here's the thing. No one that is going to be blind is going to be in the position of being in a car by themselves, I feel like. And even if you're deaf, you're what stops like a deaf person from driving right now? They look out for the colors, right? That's why
yeah.
police sirens like they have the noise and they have the colors. So I feel like it's not really like a hazard per se because like I mean even right now if I'm jamming out to music, right, and I don't hear it because a lot like that's happened before. I've had the music so loud in my car that I can hear the police siren or something like that that's going on, but I
That's
see it.
true.
So
I've
like
done that.
I like see it, so I turn the music down and I like pull over or whatever that I need to do in that situation. So I don't necessarily think the noise canceling is a hazard. I think it's actually pretty cool because I think road noise is one of the most annoying things to deal with when you're in a car. I hate
Yeah.
road noise. Like when I'm jamming, like when I'm playing music on the interstate and I can hear the road noise more than like the music and I have to turn it up. Like it's just I don't like it. But that being said, I also hate noise canceling headphones
Why?
because they it's like you said they're not perfect. So like there's this weird like thing that it does when it tries to cancel the noise that I don't
Yeah,
like.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's kind of like an
Like
ambient
a weird
noise that it
hum.
does.
Yeah.
Like yeah, and I hate that. So I can only imagine being in the car and there's like a like kind of a dullness, like
Yeah.
just kind of like bass sound that's created to cancel out the road noise and stuff. So I mean, I hate like I've had headphones before. I've tried my sisters and I absolutely hate them. And I will never get like noise canceling headphones for that
Well,
reason. So like
you have the AirPods Pro, don't you?
no, I have the regular AirPods. I hate the AirPod Pro. I tried them.
Oh.
A friend of mine let me put them in, and like I also hate headphones that like when you're singing a song, if you can hear yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I have that problem with these headphones. Like the two biggest problem with these are Beats by Dre, and the two biggest problems is if I speak, I can hear myself no
I
matter
hate
what.
that.
And then the second thing is if I play the music above like 50% maybe, people like around me can hear the music like bleeding out. And I hate that even more than being able to hear myself, just because I hate like bothering other people, you know? And I know if I'm on like a plane or like, you know, in the airport or something, people can hear it. And I don't know, it just makes me feel weird that people can like hear what I'm listening to, you know?
Yeah.
But
that would, I mean, I don't know. It's like another one of those things. Maybe they perfected the tech and it's actually a really good feature.
Maybe.
So who knows? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know, man. No, I haven't been in one. I haven't been able to like drive it around or anything. So.
Well, I've got one last question for you, Mr. Tesla engineer.
All right.
So they like dramatically increased the range on both the S and the X, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that, and you might not know the answer, which is fine. Make something up if you don't. But is that because they just have larger batteries now, or is there some sort of like new battery technology that's going into it?
So I think the S and X, like since it was the first couple cars, the battery tech wasn't as new as the three and the Y. So they like that's why the 3 and the Y can go further. So I think it's just a improvement in the battery tech to make them like all have the same kind of tech.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense. And then
like as they develop them, right? So like I think they have designed the 3 and the Y in such a way that any improvements in battery tech are probably going to be easily like changing. You can change it. I don't know the word. Like
dude, I used to have this like genius
fart.
idea back in the day, and I think this is where you're going with this, where instead of like recharging your battery for an hour or whatever, however long it takes at a supercharger, they should just make like Tesla like
fuel
garages
stations?
or like workshops essentially, where you drive in basically like a Valvoline, they pop the old battery out, put a new one in, and you pay like, I don't know, like $20 or whatever.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that, where it's like that could be like a pit stop instead of you having to wait like 100%. Even at a turbocharger like half an hour to get your battery up to 80%. You could just go into one of these stations, and if the battery bolts in from the bottom, you just undo it, pull it out, put it back in. And if it takes like 5 or 10 minutes and it gives you a fully charge, you could literally charge, I don't know, $20 more than like a full battery on a turbocharger, and like you're good.
I would do it for
But
convenience.
it gets to the point where like how many people are going to do it to the like, and it's not, I don't even think the problem is like too few people would do it. I think a lot of people would do it at the end of the day, and it would get to the point of like you have to have like a pretty big changing station
that's true
to replace like the batteries that are dead, and then like the full charge ones, and then you probably have to have like a bunch of turbochargers from Tesla like charging batteries nonstop. So you're drawing a lot of power from the grid at that point to like one spot. So there's a lot of like infrastructure.
More jobs.
I guess, but like there's a lot of infrastructure to think about. But I feel like the idea is pretty good because like.
Have you met Elon Musk in person yet? Because you should pitch this to him.
I have not, and I'm sure someone has pitched it to him before.
I think you would instantaneously become like VP of battery tech.
I don't think that's true. I know nothing about batteries.
Okay, VP of battery sustainability.
I might be VP of janitorial services because he might just tell me to get the hell out of his face.
You know, Elon Musk said the other day that too many people have MBAs.
And I'm going for one.
And I'm in one. So maybe our idea is terrible and he would just laugh in our face.
Yeah. Hey, it only takes one good idea though.
That's true. Honestly, actually, we learned in our entrepreneurship class that to be an entrepreneur, you don't have to have money because you can always get it financed. You don't have to have an idea because you can copy someone else's idea. And you don't even have to like want to be an entrepreneur. It could just happen.
What do you have to do?
I don't know. Take a risk. I don't know.
You literally said you don't need money. You don't need ideas. You can steal other people's stuff. What do you, what's this?
It's true. It's true. You don't need ideas. You don't need money. You just need to be the person that puts pen to paper and actually does it.
That has an idea.
No. Well, you don't have to have like a new innovative idea. You can just copy someone else's idea, like in a slightly different way. You know, like imagine like making a board game.
Go on.
So we learned about this guy. I forget his name now, but Bob Reese was his name. He happened to see that in like the Canadian market, there was this board game, like this trivia game. aka Trivial Pursuit was what it was called back in the day. And he copied it essentially, but he did it with TV Guide. Have you ever used like tvguide.com?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, they tell you what's on TV. And back in the day, they used to have a magazine. And so he made this trivia board game with TV Guide based off of their magazine and like based on TV shows and whatnot. And he called it TV Guide Game. And yeah, it was a huge hit.
I've never heard of it.
I haven't either, because it was in like the 70s or something. Oh. But it's interesting. So like I said, you don't need money. You don't need an idea, and you can just copy it.
Steal other people's idea,
Steal other people's idea. Exactly. Or you could be like me and start a YouTube channel to make passive income currently, which I've made $0. But we're getting there.
Slowly but surely, my man.
Maybe. But that's been our episode of the Barely Indian podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to smash that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be here some Mondays. I don't want to say every Monday anymore because like we've been really bad about that. So, we'll be here sometimes. We'll be here sometimes.
We'll do a spontaneous one. We'll do like a podcast where it's like location based and like I'll be on vacation, you'll be on vacation, and we'll just do it like while I'm skiing or something. That's what we should do. We should do it on a mountain.
Why can't we just vacation together?
Okay, then come out to Colorado.
No, you don't live in Colorado. I don't live
in February.
Colorado.
I'm going to Colorado end of February. Come.
No. We're in the middle of a pandemic, unfortunately.
It's okay.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Bye.